Inspekta Jenerali wa Polisi Douglas Kanja amekosa kufika mahakamani kufuatia kutekwa nyara kwa vijana 6 mwezi wa Disemba mwaka 2024. 5 kati ya 6 hao waliweza kuachiliwa na watekaji nyara wao siku ya Jumatatu. Tuvuke moja kwa moja hadi katika mahakama kuu ya Milimani tuweze kusikiliza ni kipi kinajiri.
Are not pieces of paper. Yes. Your Lordship, court orders ought to be respected. And that is the very reason why we are before you today, Your Lordship. Yes. Your Lordship, for counsel to submit that the IG had to attend other security matters. Your Lordship, the very reason why we filed this petition is that this is equally a matter of national importance and a matter of national security, where we cannot have Kenyans missing and their whereabouts remain unknown. Your Lordship, if you look at your orders, Your Lordship, they are very clear and they are unambiguous. Your Lordship, your directions was that the security agencies, the respondents, were to present these petitioners before court. So, Your Lordship, the duty of having them before court today did not lie with the first petitioner, but rather with the respondents, because they are the ones who have the tools to be able to bring them before court today. Your Lordship, if you look at the replying affidavit, is that... Counsel. Yes, Your Lordship.
So that I'm able to understand your flow a little bit better.
Yes, Your Lordship.
Look at my initial orders of 30th of December.
Yes, my Lord.
Let me read order number 2.
Yes, Your Lordship.
Pending the inter-parties hearing and examination of the application dated 26th December 2024, a conservatory order be and is hereby issued restraining the respondents, jointly and severally, from arresting, detaining, continuing to detain, charging, causing plea-taking, prosecuting, or continuing to prosecute the second to 7th petitioners applicants with respect to any criminal offense, except with leave of the High Court or except with an order of the High Court.
Yes, Your Lordship.
If, for example, the second respondent, the National Police Service, determined that some of the petitioners should be produced in court, will that place them in jeopardy in terms of order number 2? And would it have been easier for counsel for the petitioners to simply come to court?
Your Lordship, in furtherance to your orders,
yes,
I'm also reading order number 10 of the orders issued on the 31st of December.
Yes.
And Your Lordship, it reads that in the event that the second to 7th petitioners are located by any of the respondents or interested parties, or any other person or body, the same are to be produced before this court or the nearest High Court at any time, or they are to be presented to the offices of the first and second interested party in the event that production to this court or the nearest High Court is not convenient. Your Lordship, you had...
Sorry, let's engage in a little bit of housekeeping so that I'm certain what is the state of play. Is the second petitioner applicant Peter Muteti at least? Is that in this case? Any counsel for the
we are not aware of Your Lordship.
What is your take? Peter Muteti, is he free?
My instructions are that it is in the public domain that he is free.
My Lord, may I help, please?
Yes.
My name is Kabata again.
Yes.
My sister, when you're taking quorum, they are from the Kenya National Commission for Human Rights. I think it is important that they ventilate, first of all, that they get on record, and then number 2, they could have a better position as to whether, because they are the first interested parties and they're the second interested parties, and my Lord, you had directed that they be presented by them. So they will be in a better position to explain to the court.
Good morning, Mrs.
Good morning, my lord. My senior, Mr. Victor Kamau, would wish to address the court with respect to the second petitioner.
Yes, please, Your Lordship, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, now, firstly, we know that some of the petitioners have been released. They have not, as some would like us to believe, been found. They have been clearly released by those who had abducted them in circumstances tending to suggest that the releases were timed to coincide with the obligation of the IG to appear before you this morning, so that they will be accounted for and that be obviated. However, we have not received any report that the seventh petitioner has been released. And more so because the others have been released. Of course, we now have a great concern about the safety or the whereabouts of the seventh petitioner. And that is why, Your Lordship, the IG himself, as you had clearly ordered, should have presented himself to court to explain. Your Lordship, the order was very clear and specific that the AIG in person should attend court. And as far as I understand that, we must apply the maxim delegatus non potest delegare. You cannot delegate an order to another officer. He has to appear in person, and we submit that therefore he is in clear contempt of this court to its face. There are only three ways of handling an order of the court. One is to obey it, the other is to comply with it, and the last is to adhere strictly to its terms. No other available option. So we do acknowledge that they have released the petitioners except the seventh petitioner. At least that is what we have been able to confirm. So we need the IG still to appear in person. One, to obey the court order, first and foremost. And second, to explain what the court would need him to explain.
So for the completeness of my record, is it the Commission on Human Rights position that the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth petitioners are admitted?
But there is nothing to show for it.
The third petitioner has not been released, sorry.
Bernard.
We have not heard that he has been released, but we have had.
My Lord, if you permit me to speak for
We have actually, it's been press statements, really. We have only been in touch with the second petitioner, who we know is at home. And the fourth petitioner also has spoken from his home, but we definitely have not had a report about the other petitioners. Only, not at least not on our desk. but we understand they have been released except the 7th.
Thank you, my Lord. My Lord, thank you. My Lord, I speak on the strength of your directions, number 10, issued on the 31st day of December, 2024.
Yes.
My Lord, in your order, where you directed that in the event that the 2nd to the 7th petitioners are found, any person should make them available before this honorable court or any other convenient court. My Lord, I confirm in my duty of candor as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, on the 6th day of January, I received the 3rd petitioner in the company of his family at Ngong police station. After he was surrendered at the police station, Bernard Kavuli, the 3rd petitioner, after he was surrendered by officers from Kitale police station, my Lord, I can confirm for the correctness of the court record that the 3rd petitioner is present in court in the company of the proposed 10th and 11th interested parties. So, my Lord, with that little guidance, at least for the mind of the court, we can now proceed to the unknown. Thank you, my Lord.
Yes. Sorry.
Please give room for him to listen.
Mr. Kavuli, how are you? Mr. Kavuli, I will not ask a lot of you. I will just ask, do you have your national identity card?
You were left with the abductors.
I know him personally. It's him. I can attest. It's him. I do.
My Lord, if you may allow.
My Lord, perhaps.
My Lord.
Mr. Nyamodi, be patient. You have a lot to answer.
My Lord, if you may allow me. Again, reading the imports of order number 10, the reason why, if I was to read the mind of the court directed that these individuals be produced before an agency is for purposes of processing, so that there can be accountability. So that when Mr. Nyamondi appears before you, he will not be telling you that we have heard from the media. It is in public domain. So, my Lord, that is to me the only answer that can be given if you were to look at the affidavit, paragraph 11. There was a record of a missing person at Ngong police station. That has indicated to you that Mr. Kavuli was presented before the same police station. Where is the closure of this entry? In the absence of a clear and substantive explanation. That's why, my Lord, it is important for us to have the respondents before you. There is no closure of this entry. And the closure of this entry, my Lord, can only be demonstrated by a further OB if it has been recorded anywhere. Number 2, my Lord, as I sum up, the explanation can therefore only be substantive if there is demonstration of investigation. But who can tell us in the absence of the IG? My Lord, the orders must be complied with. There cannot be delegation. Most obliged.
Yes, Senior Counsel.
Please, the court, may I, as the 4th interested party, just raise one issue? I did hear counsel for the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 9th respondents say that because you issued an order for the production, the application is sent. And I want to emphatically state that the essence of the writ of habeas corpus, or an order for habeas corpus, is to secure the production of a person in court, in a court of law, by the state, so as to facilitate an inquiry into the reasons for such a person's incarceration. So production is just a first step. It does not exhaust the writ. And once the court deals with the disobedience of the clear orders for the officers who control the state organs of security, then the inquiry will begin. So we are very far from exhausting the application.
Your Lordship, for the 9th and 10th interested parties.
Yes.
Yeah, my Lord, I just want to, my name is Kiragwa Vita. I would just want to clarify that the attendance of the 9th respondents pursuant to your directions of 30th day of December 2024 was required in two capacities. The first capacity, you'll find it in order number 3, where the 9th respondent was required to personally secure compliance with the production orders and then bring them to court before you. And you went ahead and issued summons to that effect. And those orders...
Perhaps for the benefit, I'm sure you're aware the public is following, perhaps for the benefit of the public, you could read the 93rd order.
Let me just, the prayer number 3, or order number 3 says, the 9th respondent, Douglas Kanja Kirocho, shall in his capacity as the first respondent and also in his capacity as the 9th respondent personally secure compliance with orders number 1 and 2 above and shall consequently personally produce the 2nd to 7th petitioners stroke applicants before this court or the Milimani High Court High Court Criminal Duty Court, on 31st December 2024 at 11 a.m. in physical stroke open court, and then you went ahead and summons to that effect be and are hereby issued to him. My Lord, those summons have not been lifted. And you find that those orders were reiterated during the proceedings of 3rd of January 2025, 31st of December 2024. That prayer was reiterated. So, my Lord, there are summons which have not been complied with. There are orders to produce. What you know so far is that there are 2 people who have not been produced. There is a person who was supposed to produce them, come before you, is not here. Then, and just to show the difference between that order and order number 8, so that we don't confuse.
Yes, I'm aware of the order. I gave in order.
Naam, mtazamaji, ndo kesi ama kusikilizwa kwa kesi ambayo inamhitaji Inspekta Jenerali wa Polisi Douglas Kanja na vile mkurugenzi wa DCI Mohamed Amin kuweza kufika katika mahakama ya Milimani kuweza kujibu mashtaka kuhusiana na utekaji nyara, visa ambavyo vimeripotiwa humu nchini, mtazamaji, kwa siku za hivi karibuni. Na ikumbukwe kwamba waliitwa mara ya kwanza wakati jaji Diana Kavetsa ambaye alimtaka Inspekta Jenerali wa Polisi Douglas Kanja ili kuweza kuwasilisha wale ambao walikuwa wametekwa nyara katika mahakama ili kuweza kusikilizwa kwa kesi kuhusiana na masuala hayo. Mtazamaji, ndo masuala ambayo tunayafuatilia katika mahakama ya Milimani, na tutaendelea kusikiliza ni kipi kinajiri ili tuweze kujua ni kipi kinaendelea mahakamani. mahakamani, huku mawakili wa wale ambao waliwasilisha kesi ya kutaka wawili hao kuweza kujiwasilisha wakiendelea kutoa hoja zao mbele ya mahakama. Tusikilize.
Due to contempt of court and similar orders in those terms should be made. Thank you.
Your Lordship. Yes. Lord, I only need to add a voice in response to a question because once we deal with the issues that are brought us here today, is the application not spent? My Lord, it is not spent. My Lord, the mission of the agencies of the party is to ensure responsible and accountable policy. The families of the abductees need to know what happened to the loved ones, where were they, and many of them come back with the relatives. They are not aware where they are. It is important for the whole nation to know who are these abducted Kenyans that even the police do not know who they are. My Lord, we also need as a nation to hear what efforts are employed by the security investigation agencies to ensure that this price is justified. My Lord, the agents of the party are supported this application. And we have created scenarios where security agencies have demonstrated good in ensuring price support. The creation of critical infrastructure protection units, the water police units, and ethics units. We have an effort being made to deal with the issue of our so, my Lord, even after we deal with the issues we are dealing with today, order number 8, or prayer number 8, prayer number 9, with the application by the petitioners, still need to be executed at all. We need investigation of a way of witness testimony, what happened, and who are abducting the Kenyans, and what effort is going to be made to deal with it. That's all.
My Lord,
Just a moment.
thank you.
Yes.
May it please your Lordship. I'm happy that this is a court of record. And all those orders that we've been canvassing are very clear. We're in court before you. I recall my Lord saying that you are standing in the gap, the possibility of bringing your own country to sanity. A bit of sanity has since returned.
Yes.
It's in a manner that is not explainable. Therefore, the matter cannot be spent, as Councillor Nyamodi tried to suggest.
Yes.
There is nothing more important than the citizen's right to, indeed these are non-derogable rights, citizens' right to freedom and life. And therefore, to hear that the Inspector General of Police and the DCI are engaged in more important deliberations. This country is not even at war when we last checked. There's no invasion. These are matters of life and death. And therefore, will it please your Lordship? It's now about 11:20. That in order to further sanitize this country, bring sanity, that the Inspector General be given 2 hours to complete whatever he is doing, along with the DCI, and presents himself before this court. That is our considered view. It is also a matter of public notoriety that his predecessor, Mr. Masengeli, faced with a similar situation of 3 abductees
Bob Njagi and the two brothers.
Yes.
A day before Mr. Kanja was sworn into office, those three abductees were released. And today, not a single statement has been recorded from any of them against it in the public domain that has not happened. So the responsibility of the Inspector General of Police requires that he also takes statements from all those people, because as again there's no closure apart from the third petition. We cannot attempt to bring this matter to closure. And Your Honor, my Lord, it's a famous Professor Kopagyan who opined that the trouble we have in this country is that we have a constitution, but constitutionalism is not evident at all in these public offices. Some of us, my Lord, have been in those offices. And therefore, for us to come and address you, my Lord,
yes,
is an urge to have this country back on its feet. Right now, we are living in gangster type of country. It doesn't make sense to take our men to Haiti, a country that is ruled by gangsters, when at home we're living every day.
I think Senior Counsel, that is a matter.
I'm guided, my Lord, but I also started by saying it's a court of record. So whatever it is I've said, it's also recorded. And I think that, as I said, you do have a singular responsibility to put your country back on its feet. So we submit that the Inspector General of Police, the DCI, and indeed I know the Mount Kenya jurist will also be making application before you.
Yes.
So that, again, those people seem to know who is abducting who. Some are alleging that citizens are stupid enough to abduct themselves. Surely, Kenyans are wiser than what we are hearing. I thank you, my Lord.
So
Your Lordship,
voice with
your kind permission.
The last voice that will be on this, before I go to Council Nyamodi, is going to be from Mr. Omtata.
Yes, my Lord. I would like to make a small clarification.
Yes.
That the police cannot hang by the skin of their teeth on the fact that you issued an order prohibiting arrest.
Yes.
Police produce people in court without arresting them every other day. We do have witnesses being brought to court by police without being arrested. So arrest is not a precondition for production in court.
Yes.
So I find that the two orders are not mutually exclusive, and the police should not hang on them. They should demonstrate that they reached out to these people, they have accepted that they have acknowledged that it's in the public domain that these people are released.
Yes.
That public domain is policed by the Kenya Police Service.
Yes.
They should demonstrate what they did to try and bring those people into this court. Secondly,
yes,
I would request the court to reject the invitation by Mr. Nyamodi that Kenya is a failed state. Kenya is not a failed state.
My Lord,
where we have...
Mr. Omtata is putting words into my mouth. Perhaps if he wants to attribute words to me, he should be careful to repeat exactly what I said. If it is his interpretation of what I said, let him be clear that that is what he means.
Well, when Mr. Nyamodi said that the police do not know who's holding these people, then he's inviting us to operate within a very narrow space between the private and the public, a space where mercenaries operate. And that space only exists in failed states. That's why I'm saying that to request to try and persuade this court that is a mercenary formation that's abducting Kenyans is tantamount to claiming that Kenya is a failed state, which I reject, and I say there's no mercenary operating in this country. It's the security forces abducting Kenyans. Otherwise, the state should demonstrate the existence of a machinery formation in the very narrow space between the private and the public, where non-state actors may operate in a failed state. That's all, my lord.
Thank you,
But, my lord, before you pen off, my lord, I just wanted to point out that Billy Mwangi's father is in court again today, and sister of the seven, just for purposes of the inquisitorial aspect of the court's jurisdiction.
Yes.
That the father of Billy Mwangi, the fourth applicant petitioner, and Stacy Mutua, sister of Steve Kavingo. Stacy Mutua, sister of Steve Kavingo, and Billy Mwangi's father are in court. The last time the court directed that it has investigatorial as well as inquisitorial jurisdiction on the application. So, for purposes of the record, they may say a word.
Good
morning, my lord.
Good morning. So I'd just like to begin by asking you to confirm that your son is within home.
I want to confirm, my lord, that Billy Mwangi is home, and he was released on Monday. He came in the morning at 8 a.m. and he's home as we talk.
So well.
Thank you. Any other family members?
My name is Stacy Mutua, sister to Steve Bisi Kavingo, who is still missing.
He's still missing?
Yes.
Thank you. You can take this case for a moment.
Your Lordship, with your very kind permission, just for completeness of record, there is one issue.
Just a moment.
Just one.
I want us to deal with preliminary issues first. It's 11:43.
That's fine.
You're going to adjourn until, let's say, 12:10. You will seek instructions on out where the Inspector General of Police is. It is possible for him to be here today. I will then listen to your information, your appraisal of the court, and I will then make an order.
Most obliged, my lord. I am guided accordingly. I will take the instructions.
Yes.
But perhaps, my lord, as I take my seat, so that the conversation taking place this morning is not just between the clients I represent and the petitioners and the interested parties who support their position.
Yes.
I request perhaps that the court hears from my learned colleagues who represent the other substantive respondents on their proposals as to the way forward.
We'll do that at 12:10. So hopefully hear from all other counsel. Let me put my cards squarely on the table. I have, this is the second hearing. So this would be the second hearing the IG has missed. It's an order that will be issued by this court. So as a preliminary point, let us find out where it is. So it's possible for him to appear, and then we take it from there. So we will take a short recess.
My lord, could you direct that you be served with MTC's report so that when you come back we also know what to see?
It's not on city.
It's not on city. If they could serve us, we will appreciate. But if they have one copy, I can supply resources to
to help the court.
Please come to the front. You have an idea of what document you present?
Thank you, my lord. From my side, I have a copy of records for the 3 motor vehicles that you had requested.
So that you don't have to issue an order, perhaps you can speak to counsel during the recess. Then at 12:10, if you're not satisfied, I'll give an order.
Very well. Most
Thank you. Brief recess, please.
Most obliged.
Naam, mtazamaji, ndo shughuli nzima ambayo inafanyika katika mahakama ya Milimani, ambapo kuna kesi ambayo inaendelea kuhusiana na visa vya utekaji nyara, ambapo Inspekta Jenerali wa Polisi Douglas Kanja na vile vile mkurugenzi wa DCI Mohamed Amin walitarajiwa kufika kule, lakini hawajafika hadi sasa, mtazamaji, na ndo masuala ambayo tunazidi kuyafuatilia, na ni kutokana na visa vya utekaji nyara vya hivi karibuni, ambapo tumeweza kuona vijana wakitekwa nyara, na kufikia sasa wala ambao wameweza kuachiliwa ambao walitekwa nyara ni Ronnie Kiplangat, nduguye Gideon Kibet, Billy Mwangi, Peter Muteti na Bernard Kavuli na vile vile Kevin Mudhoni, ambao wameweza kuachiliwa baada ya kutekwa nyara mwezi Disemba mwaka uliopita, na vile vile Steve Mbisi bado ajulikani aliko, na ndiposa tumeweza kumwona dadake katika mahakama ya Milimani akithibitisha kwamba ndugu yake hajapatikana. Na ikumbuke kwamba kesi hii imeweza kusimamiwa ama imeweza kuwakilishwa na viongozi mbalimbali katika ulingo wa kisiasa. Tumeweza kumwona kinara wa Wiper Kalonzo Musyoka, tumeweza kumwona Martha Karua pale, tumeweza kuwaona viongozi wengine, ukiwa Mutata pia seneta wa Busia pia amekuwa mahakamani wakizidi kufuatilia na vile vile kutoa hoja zao kuhusiana na visa vya utekaji nyara ambavyo vimetokea humu nchini mwezi Disemba mwaka 2024. Mtazamaji, tunazidi kufuatilia hilo. Tutakuwa tunakujuza katika taarifa zetu zijazo, na hivi sasa nitakuwa nachukua mapumziko mafupi, lakini